who received letters, love letters in school. The feeling of you getting letter in school at that time, like in my school, they come to the assemble ground and then they mention the names, and then when you receive the letter, you see the person that wrote the letter, you are very happy, you are excited. We were content with what we had at that time.
Do you want me to also tell you that now when my girlfriend or my crush sends me a message on WhatsApp, I feel this same or I have the same feelings?
Welcome to Ray Talks Podcast, a podcast that reflects on the global Ghanaian society, the people and their lifestyle. With your host, Raymond. We are happy to have you join us. Hello and welcome back to the Ray Talks Podcast. This is yet another episode. And as usual, I'm here with my wonderful guest. I have Andy Cole, I have Ahrenepa, and then Monday Born. Yeah. Andy Cole is my right-hand man. Ahrenepa is my one and only moderator here. And I have Monday Born. Okay, so Andy, for the sake of those who are new and Monday Born, can you reintroduce yourself?
As he said, I am Andy. Andrews actually, but they call me short Andy Cole, and yeah, you can also call me Andy Cole when we meet in town.
Okay, so Andy is speaking from Germany. Ahrenepa, can you?
Hello guys, my name is Ahrenepa and I'm joining in from the US.
Nice. Monday Born.
Yeah, I'm Kwejo. I'm joining from the UK. Yeah.
Okay. You're all welcome, and I'm very happy to have you all here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a wonderful discussion tonight. It's all about the childhood back in the day or good old days, whichever way you might term it. How should I even start it? Of late, there is always some saying or talk around that the kids that are around in this age, they didn't really. It's quite different from them, their generation, than us. If I say us, I mean late 80s, early 90s, through to early 2000s, even. Yeah. Because there were a lot of things that went on in those years or back in the day that you are not seeing at this time. And most people usually say the difference is because of technology, actually. I don't know if you hear these things.
Yeah.
Do you agree that it's technology?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because sometimes when you try to compare those days to these days, it doesn't really match up. But then again, people go ahead to say, nkwalaa ya won't say as bio. I feel very offended sometimes when I hear these things. Bio. And it doesn't mean they're not biana.
I think I may not be in the same generation with you because I am part of this generation Z, as they call us,
Okay.
from the late 90s and the early 2000s.
Okay.
And as part of the generation Z or Z, whichever way, I think we may be a little bit different from the previous generations or the new generations, and I think it's not something miraculous. It's not something we should be thinking about a lot because to me, I feel it's normal and it should happen that way, and it is happening that way.
Yeah, so you, the Generation Z that you're talking about, you are the ones that have sharp brains now, or what?
Not actually. It's just that we have different styles in our time, and we are going according to what we have in our time. Those days, if we read history or if we listen to history or stories, we realize that years ago or decades ago, there weren't cars, there weren't computers, and they were living a life in such a way or in a particular manner. And now we have these things, okay? And we are also living according to what we have now. Probably in future there is going to be a lot more than what we are seeing currently. And it doesn't mean that what the previous people did. To me, what or how the previous people were living is not a friend is saying in classism, or it's not that low. It was they were living up to their standard. And I feel I am living up to my standard according to my generation.
Okay, so
And
they were living according to what they had at that time.
exactly. Yes.
Okay. Well, nice submission. Mandy Born, I'll come to you now. What do you think about that? How do you feel when people go like, this generation like of kids, they are sharper than those from the 90s?
Yeah, I think that what Andy said is right, and I would agree that in our generation right now, it's mostly those of us who were born in the late 90s to this time. Mostly we've been exposed to certain things in our system. Um, how technology has so much advanced over the years. Just about 10 years ago, Bitcoin came up and all that, and some people still don't know even about it. And it's quite surprising how I've met some 14, 13-year-olds who are already trading Bitcoin and all those things. That's how smart kids have become. And these are just one of the few things that we can talk about. I think if you're born into a place where there is a certain predisposition, you are likely to adjust to that. So those who were born in the ages where they were using horses, I think they were so used to horses so much that they would think probably a car would even waste your time if you
Yeah.
get it. So I think in our time we've come to understand so many things that probably those older than us or those born before our generation do not have any idea about. So I think particularly technological advancements have also contributed to that. And I think some of these predispositions, like how things are done nowadays, nowadays people don't even want to go to work or do anything like that. People work from home. And I know kids who own YouTube channels, people who do online shopping and all those things. So things have really changed. People have different perspectives about how things are done lately because they had that predisposition. They were born into a system where people can make money from home, people can do things online and all that. They don't need to be physically there. Like how we're doing right now. We just met here and we are all across the world and we are still communicating. So I think that predisposition is also part of it. Yeah, that's the little I can say.
Okay. Um, Ahinipa, when we were kids, our parents or sometimes even the friends that we lived in, some of us lived on compound houses and stuff like that. Especially at night when it was dark, or when there was no light, like light off or something like that, we gathered and we told ourselves stories and stuff like that. How do you think we benefited from those kind of stories?
Okay, I feel like we benefited because with those stories that we were told back then, they were told by mostly our grandparents, and they had a lot of experience in life. And those stories were coming genuinely from probably personal experiences that they had. And I think that it helped us growing up. Unlike today, where that gap is broken. Now people don't live with their grandparents anymore. They are not hearing some of these things that we heard when we were growing up. Me, I'm not part of the Gen Z generation. I'm part of, I am part of the 90s. So for us, I feel like those stories were life lessons. They mold us, they groomed us, they help us to grow. in a way that we took life very seriously. For me, I feel like of late, this generation, for me, I feel like life is being done on an easy path for them. That's how I feel. But we had to go through growing up and having to learn from our grandparents, from our parents, even some even were living with their great grandparents. Some came to meet them. But today it's just about a nuclear family, and they are just learning things from the internet, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so the way that we got our stories, or the stories were being told to us, was very different from nowadays.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
parents didn't put us in bed and then tell us story to go to sleep,
Readers book.
read a book or something like that. But of late, this is what happens. Like parents tell read books with their kids, or sometimes tell stories with them to them before they go to bed. How do you compare it? Do you think it's of the same impact?
No, please, because our time we were socializing with other kids by the fireside. We'll go, or we'll have one grown person, then they will gather all the kids, like you rightly said. We live in a compound house, so we're able to mingle with other kids, have that social thing. But today it has become an individual thing. Obiara ne ba hyɛ ne fie. Nobody wants to mingle with somebody else, so the kids are not really getting that advantage that we had. Okay. We were able to learn from each other as kids. We were able to learn to play collectively together as a group. We're able to love ourselves because we were taught, we were growing up together. But today, obi esi fi anu wato wall afa ho. In those days, you hardly see wall. I mean, your mother can be in the house and they can just shout to the next person asking for something. But today, you go and you ask somebody for something, they will tell you that you are a witch, you're coming to destroy their family or something. So for me, I feel like the difference is very clear. The difference is very, very, very clear. Now it's just me, myself, and my family. But back then it was us, we collectively together, people that you don't even know. You can form families with them because you live in the same house. And there was no problem. There was no problem.
Okay. I kind of like what you just said, but then, Andy, do you think it has really helped? Because, like what Aranepa was saying, we did things collectively, we mingled very well, we blah blah blah. But then this generation grew up and they were like, "Kai, maybe I done for there, I done for there." We that they taught us how to mingle very well. Our
Exactly. Yeah.
generation are mostly like Adam Ford. Yeah, what? I don't need a friend. I don't need a blah blah blah. So does it mean we didn't benefit from the socialization?
See, I feel like we do talk much more about, or we did talk much about the negative side of our socialization, or how we were brought up. Okay, there's been advantages. There's been advantages of socialization, and it's sad that people don't talk, or people hardly talk about that, but rather the bad side of socialization. Now, with this generation thing you're talking about, okay, if I remember I grew up in a very like deep village, cottage somehow we call it. And I remember we used to set up firewood and sit around this firewood and or the fire, and our old people, or we tell ourselves stories, or like to an as a seminar is you, so then you see then the next person continues. Okay, now it was a way of we probably socializing, but the fact that that was the way you think was helping does not mean that how this generation is also socializing isn't helping. Okay, probably it's because then the technological gadgets weren't as now. The advancement weren't like now. You understand? And now we have it. So we are also socializing through this means or this media. It does not make ours negative or theirs. It's just a different set of people with different kind of or way of doing things according to what is available to them. And for me, I feel like however which group or which generation um, was living or were living their life, it's worth it. It's just a different thing that we are seeing. Probably the generation in the future is also going to see something else, as I said earlier, and it doesn't make one whack, weak, or bad.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so lovely viewers, this has been the Retalks podcast. We're talking about the good old days. I am happy to have you join us. Yeah. So I think we've said a lot about it. But Monday Bond, speaking of technology and gadgets, how do you think it has helped the current generation? Because during our time, we didn't have access to these things. Like I got my first mobile phone in my final year at SS. That was when I got my first. That one was even Yam. That someone gave to me, not even my parents.
Which year are you talking about?
That was in 2007.
So 207. I
Yeah.
was also probably in primary four or three.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
Yeah,
thinking about mobile phone.
I think I was in my high school. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I got my first Yam there. We didn't have access to internet and stuff like that. And so we weren't exposed to so many things. But this group or this age group, they are exposed to a lot of things. We see this morning I was on X, like formerly Twitter. I was on X, and then I was doing what I was going through some of the feed, and then I saw high school students like second years or so like that. They were in a group and they were just kissing each other. They were just, and this is what a friend of theirs was recording. You see, our time, these things weren't there. So how do you think this technology has really impacted on them? No, Mandibon, I want Mandibon to.
Okay. I think when you talk about impact, it could be positive or negative. I don't know which one you want to hear.
Okay. Do you think it has impacted negatively or positively?
Okay, so let's say Ayonepa and Ray, you are a couple, and your son is Andy, and Andy is so brilliant. He's able to make money online. Even though he goes to school at the end of the month, he's able to. He has a YouTube channel, probably. He's doing Shopify as well. He's making money online, and he brings home so much money. And you guys are comfortable. Would you say it's a bad thing? Though he gets distracted most of the day. You took him to school. He's doing quite well. You are not really, happy about his performance in school, but he's doing very well. He brings money home. Would you say you're proud of your son?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm proud because first of all, he's not doing well. His grades are not good,
Okay.
and as it stands, I'm still providing.
Yeah.
So I don't see why he should start making money instead of studying. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if he wants to support me or not, but then the goal is for him to study well
Good.
and then pass his grades.
Good. So it is very relative because if a family had a son like yours, like Andy, they would they would always go to church to thank God for giving them such a son, and it's relative because in our time, if I'm making money online and it's taking away my social life and all that, but I think it still makes me happy because whatever we do as we grew up, those of us who were born in the late 90s, I don't know about those before us, but those of us who were born in the late 90s, all our parents cared about was our grades, do very well, you can get a good job, and all those things. You get it. And now, if I should have a child right now who is come of age, who can access the internet I would make sure they are making money off of it. And my father would probably tell me, don't spend too much time on the internet. But that's where people, that's why I was saying that it is the predisposition. If you are predisposed to an environment where people are making money online and you think, yeah, you can school, but you can also do something online to fund your school, help the home, and all those things, I think it will come from two different perspectives. Someone would say, no, 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 the internet is spoiling my child and all that. I mean, and the other family would also say, our child is a genius. He's doing very well. At the age of 13 or 15, he's making so much money online. You get it? So it's quite relative. So I was happy you brought out the negative aspect that you're still providing for the child. Even though the child is bringing maybe $500, $600 a month, you still think you are catering for the child. So they should improve upon their grades. Okay. So it's very relative. But I think that if you look at everything very well, um, the positive sides, I think, are more than the negative sides when it comes to the technological advancements. And let me chip in this. If you look at the dark web and then the deep web, I'm talking about a negative aspect of things. People do stuff there, and people do very bad stuff there. People actually go to a place where people are being humiliated online and they are giving them money. It's entertaining for them. That is very, very wrong. And these are some of the aspects of the technology that we would say they are not good in any context. Okay, where people are even defrauding people online and all those things. These we would say that yeah, it's very bad. But to me, I think technological advancements have really helped in a way that it's being shaped people into becoming their full potential during their lifetime. Yeah, so I think it's great. It's great, but there has to be a balance. Yeah.
Okay, okay. For me, I think whichever way, there needs to be a check because
Mm-hmm.
it depends on what age the child is also. Because I got exposed to the internet after secondary school. I think, sorry, a year after my secondary education, I got exposed to internet like proper, you know. So, and I was a teenager then, like
Mm-hmm.
almost in my 20s.
Yes.
So I think that age is okay. But let's say you are still in school, you're still in secondary
Wait,
school.
please do not say because yours was like this,
Yeah.
it's the best thing. No, it's not.
How much is
Okay.
too much?
Okay, okay, wait, maybe you're not getting me
I
well. But
wouldn't
then
want
but
us
then my
to
son is 13.
Mm-hmm.
wait, I
My son is
wouldn't
I'm sure he's
wait, I
for
wouldn't
himself.
want
His
us
preference.
to divert the topic um um to if technology has done good, more
Mm-hmm.
good
no, no, no,
than bad, or
no. It's
we
not.
sh-
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm talking about. But then I'm saying there should also always be a check
I also
because
disagree with you that it's not you starting or getting exposed to the internet later after high school or even during high school or even after basic education is the best thing. That
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you.
How
no,
much is
I
too
I
much?
I think I think it was good for me
Okay.
because I saw a lot of people that were in school. They got into this internet thing. Most of them ended up being school dropouts. There are lots of examples of where I
You
grew
are
up.
speaking about the disadvantage of technology.
No,
Let's not go there. Let's stay
no,
by
listen.
our
No, I'm
topic.
not saying disadvantage of technology. I'm
Okay.
saying in connection with what Monday Bond was just submitting, I said there's still there. I think there always has to be a check because let's say my son is very young, a teenager, like 13 years, 14 years. I don't expect him. For me, I don't expect him. I think if care is not taken, he or she will divert. So there really needs to be a check. I don't expect my 13-year-old or 14-year-old to be bringing home money and then I'll be happy. I don't know. I don't know if you get me. Ahonepa, what will you add to that one?
Um, with Can you come again with a question, please?
Like I asked Monday Born how he thinks it has impacted the this age group, and he was submitting, and I said there also needs to be a check, and then I gave an example like mine, and then yeah.
Oh, okay. For
I
me,
think someone's TV is really noisy.
Sorry.
yeah, for me, I do think that technology of late does help because our time back in those days when there was no technology, some we were finding it difficult to do certain things, even though we were used to it back then. That was because we didn't know of any other way to do it. For example, when it comes to writing of letters, today I can sit here and just WhatsApp Andy within 2 seconds. He's gonna receive the message. But our time, I'm gonna have to literally get a paper and a pen, write the message that I want Andy to get, you know, and I have to post it. And it's going to take days, probably weeks, before Andy will receive it. And then before he will also reply me. I believe we all know this movie back in the days, Who Killed Nancy? Yes, it was a typical example of the why technology was not helping us back in those days because the man had to always send the money and the letter through a friend whom the friend was extorting the money out of the letter and just delivering the letter to Nancy. So for so many years, Nancy was thinking that her husband was not taking care of her and the kids. So she was, it brought up a whole, we all know how that movie ended. So I believe that if it was to be today and Nancy's husband was in the UK or in Germany or in the US or whatever, I believe that technology would have helped solve that situation and Nancy wouldn't have ended up killing herself and her kids.
Yeah.
So in a way, it has helped, but then I feel like we are just taking it too much. We are taking it overboard because now we have cyberbullying, we have a lot of things that are associated with the internet. So for me, comparing back in the days and today, even though we are content of how we're communicating back then, I do feel like now technology has made things more swift, more quicker, more effective. But then to everything, there's always a disadvantage. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Talking about letters and stuff like that. Who received love letters in school?
Not love letters, no.
You didn't receive any love letter in
No.
SS?
No.
Oh, really?
Titi is here. She will tell you.
And you're now war high school now sorry, JSS na high school.
Make SS.
Now on time to attire so blade and
Exactly.
Okay, she went to a girls' school. No, but your boyfriend could have been in another school because
Yeah, when you go to Intako, yeah.
because my girlfriend was in Eastern
There was
region.
something called
I was in the Central region.
or something
The
like
problem
that.
is when we go to Interco, people were socializing with their JHS friends, and I didn't have it. I don't have JHS mates, so I was mostly left alone when we go to Interco. It was later that I was able to mingle with other people.
And you're better.
I mean, the feeling of you getting letter in school at that time, like in my school, I don't know how your
Yes,
school was, but in my school, they come to the assemble ground and then they mention the names, and then when you receive the letter, you see the person that wrote the letter, you are very happy, you are excited. We were content with what we had at that time, and I think the feeling was also nice. Although today, technology has made it swift, you see, or swifter.
Do you want me to also tell you that now when my girlfriend or my crush sends me a message on WhatsApp, I feel the same or I have the same feelings?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Even we that we were used to the letters and stuff like that, we still have the same vibe and feel that you're talking
That's why I'm
about.
saying that the generation difference is actually
But
something
I was
which
keeping these letters under my trunk, like me pajama tire na me de twice here. Every letter
wa-
that comes, I was packing them because I was very happy to be receiving letter from my
you
girlfriend.
see, I also don't feel I also feel like very good when I have to go to my message and see what my girlfriend actually wrote me or something like that. Mate lady engineer make a tree.
Nice. Yeah, can be come. I think it's been a wonderful conversation. Yeah. So Now we will look at one last thing and then we will bounce. We will look at one last thing. As kids, we were punished a lot. Like, I don't know, in my house, my mom disciplined me very, very well when I faulted. Andy, what? You weren't disciplined?
No, meka abano.
Yeah. How do you think disciplining children in this age has changed? How do you think it has changed? Do you think our parents did it right, or this time around we parents are doing it right?
Should I start?
This is like a general one who is coming in.
Okay. So, I would say, like, I mean, I'm not entirely bad. I turned out well, kinda. So I think that they did the right thing, but the thing is, the thing is the time that we're with our parents in their homes, say sometimes they don't even have to. You don't have to see the cane before you get in check. Sometimes they make a show, and say if you are not careful, like you do fear, you be move. So I mean, you have to be very careful the way you behave and all that. And I think those signs or language now those signs it was enough. And I think that it got us in check. But and then, I mean, sometimes yeah, I know I come acquire or you to me the way I to me I humiliated their own parents, some more bomb with my term in public, disgracing them and all those things. You may say be I hope one entertain Kolani, but sometimes but because nowadays people, especially those of us living abroad, say you can't really touch your kids. And it's quite difficult when raising kids. So I think that your parents, no more boy, but it been so excessively. Yeah, not papa babu ye bi a catch us we ain't na mebo, but some people yeah ɔte hɔ no ma bi a ade bi a wayɛ 3 days ago ɔte hɔ na ma me abɔ ne so pine so ma den ma
Na say o dodge that time nti afi na wenya
people would come to school with bruises on their face prior marks I mean the line ya pipe so I mean some people are doing excessively, but I think if you look at it well, if somebody said I drink a to one, na a shaping color because in color those kids you realize that those kids who are very stubborn, they are people who are used to being beaten at home. Your bonus are very used to. Sometimes or you be crana, you tell the person to stop, not also enjoy crana. Maybe I also mabu, I know a bit now, no, I say, I mean, they get used to all that, but I think that in moderation, it was something good that really helped all of us. Yeah.
Okay, so almost school time they come and do odeshi omo na ya bo mo fi na. Okay. Yeah, so it like you were saying, our parents, my mom was the queen of bombastic side eye. In your the best show, no. O steady.
That's enough.
You understand? you now you go no say something day there. You're so steady. My mom was like, it was good that she did what she did because, like, I mean, I like how I've grown up to become. Oh yeah, disciplinarian, like, see. So it really helped us, and we were like two boys. Into also man in so yeah. Ahrenepa, what will you add to that?
For me, I feel like those days, the way our parents used to discipline us it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was the best, but I think that it did help us. For me, my mom, the time that she will whip you will be at dawn when everybody's sleeping because we were living in a compound house. So if she beats you in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, you will run out and go for help. Or you scream for people to come and be like, oh, yeah, she didn't want that. So dawn that everybody is sleeping, the bells will wake you up. So by the time you feel for somebody to come, she has given you the lashes that she wants. So for me, I feel like even though back then we weren't that stubborn, but we don't know the reason why we were being beaten so much like that. But yeah, and today I think that the most common form of punishment that we give our kids today is, oh, if you don't do this, I'll take your phone away, I'll take a tablet away, I'll ground you, and that's it. And even today,
And
they
then they
feel like
think
we
you
are.
hate them.
They think you are doing something so extraordinary. It's so amazing. You see, we were suffering with our skin,
You take common tablets,
but
they
they
think you hate them.
You see, so I think that it did straighten us. It made us tough. It made us learn through life lesson the hardest way, and it has groomed us to also become better. But today, I feel like they also think that they are getting something that they also deserve. Like Andy, for instance, if you take his phone away from him, he's going to think that you've punished him in a way that it's out of this world. But for me, if you take my phone away from me, I don't really see the big deal in that. Yeah.
Okay. Andy, I'll come to you now.
I see. So we are comparing the olden days, the olden times, and now. Okay. I have always stayed by my words that whatever was happening in the olden days, it was working for them. And therefore, I agree with them. Whatever is happening now is also working for us. And we are also staying by it. I have never, I will never be okay with people who physically punish their children or other people. Okay. Because I personally never enjoyed it. I feel like it didn't help me in any way. Whichever way I was beaten because I did something, or whenever I was beaten because I did something wrong. When I sit down now to remember some of the things that I did, that I was beaten, I feel like they just maltreated me.
They
Though
just
they were,
wanted to beat you.
yes,
Are
I
you
feel like,
sure? And did
let
you
me
say they
tell you
were
something.
confusing you?
Yes, there were many a times I went to play football and I go and get my slippers lost. No, I didn't have football shoes then. So I get my slippers lost. And whenever I come home, I have to be beaten. Or I go to play football and I get hurt on my kukromoti. I have to be beaten. Okay, my feet.
Or you dirty
Now,
yourself.
yes, or I did it myself, I come
Yeah.
home, I have to be beaten. I was going almost every time, and I have this one uncle who was beating me so hard that whenever I hear his name, I didn't want to go out and play anymore. Okay, now let's say I had a talent I could discover that time. They were thinking they were just trying to guide me and guide me right. Okay, but I have come to realize that no, that wasn't the best way of guiding me. Instead, they could have guided me in a way by protecting what I really want to do. Okay, and the challenges that were related to that very thing I was trying, probably learning to do, or I was loving to do. Now, it was unfortunately not like that. No one would follow you to go and see what exactly you were doing. You go out, you come home. Yeah, I went to play football. I got my slippers lost. Now they see people or children of other people playing football, and they are very happy seeing them, or they cheer them up. Could have been me. The confidence, the will, the zeal I had in developing my skills, I was kind of, um, overshadowed because of all these things. And therefore, I couldn't generate whatever skills I really wanted to. Now,
Okay.
the confidence that I probably could get as a child or could develop as a child in order to help me in my everyday life as I grow up, I felt like it has been trampled upon during my upbringing. Using this means yeah, the aba bono, yeah, the I remember once I said I was not going to bath and I went to sleep. They had to come and pour water on me, and I had to come and sit outside and
But
cry.
why would you go to bed without
Why don't you
bathing?
want to bath?
See,
Why
so
don't you want to
do
buy?
you think that was the best thing to do? Because you could look at the
Hey,
psychological.
Andu Trimbe or the power.
No.
Yeah.
You see, you are thinking or you are taking this whole thing from the Ghanaian aspect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bruni and Boneba, they
Yeah.
Hey,
still train them.
kind of offer.
You see, Bruni Moneba.
Kanefo de kanefo.
Omo bom papa. Me de ebi bom pa, ebi
Oh
bom.
no, just compared to the
Well,
your mom will
percentage,
just
yeah. Well,
turn and anything they lay their hands on, it's coming straight to you.
And the matter,
People,
beaches need their woman.
I don't know how many whites are where who say omoni omawofie. If you see the kind of stress and cranny do
The kids put them through.
yeah.
how
but
sometimes they what the sometimes the worst they can do is like yell their minds out like
Mm-hmm.
because on person ordinance and so be cano.
Yeah.
exactly, and you see, they just. I feel like these children, as they
But oh
grow,
mama bebo why you free or bebo no why you
get.
free. Don't stress no.
Don't portray your stress
No,
on
no, you won't
them.
stress your mother. Your mother will beat you and be
No,
free.
And no,
Yes,
because
that is
it's
Eh,
still
also
my
an
motto.
example. Yes, obetumi eti na motom. Some just had to have to push them behind doors and shut the door on them at them or like keep them behind the doors as punishment. You see, all I feel there are other forms of punishment they could have probably explored or they could have used, to direct us and not beating. People have this I mean, kind of saying disabled
Yeah,
as a result
yeah,
of a mistake back could be an man here then oh me Friday we are born then unaware akobonani
yeah. Physical
unaware
abuse.
so what
Yeah,
yes
can be
unaware
physical.
akobone be
Yeah.
ma so say untimi wo bi
okay.
you
Let's cut
understand
it short now. Yeah, time
so
no.
our time what or whichever way they are punishing us they are guiding I mean I call it guidance whichever way they are guiding us I think it's worth it. It doesn't mean say it's not necessary say omo idea ababo omo no. Bebre na so anko baby. I look at Akufo-Addo. He was never beaten. He's now the president of Ghana. Look at the
No, you
confidence
said
he
he
uses
was never
against them.
beaten. Wait, Odem call him. Yeah, so in relation to what you were saying, before giving wonderful submissions, I think football, our parents they didn't have much education about sports and other things that
It's
time.
not only sport. It's exactly what you said that they were just thinking say go to school, get a certificate, go make a degree, become a doctor, teacher, whatever.
That's it.
Now, if you sit behind a
but you
PC
can't
and
really
you do
blame
ta
them.
ta ta,
You can't blame them.
Live
No,
the
no,
dream they couldn't live. That's
Andy Andy is
they
saying
impose their
something.
dreams on
Exactly.
us.
Andy is saying
Because
something.
I
Yeah.
mean,
You said if you do what?
and
that's
now,
what
if
we're
my
raised.
child is going to sit behind a laptop at age 10 and do pa pa pa, and 5,000 is going to come into his account, I'll just sit there and go,
Go
keep it
boy,
up,
go girl.
No, no,
keep it
no.
You're
up.
not
I won't.
serious.
I
No, no,
won't.
no.
You are
I
not
won't.
serious.
The goal is to make money. As to whether you go to school, make a degree, become a teacher, you get money. If my child goes to sit behind a PC, do ta ta ta, get money. I'm not saying
But
the ta 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 the bad way.
I would
The
rather
I'm
my
not
child
coming
crosses that 18 age limit before or
Nah.
best
18.
at
yes.
yeah.
Ray, can I come in
There are
here?
Yeah.
kids who
You
have
know,
developed
we have
softwares.
kids.
Exactly, exactly,
And we
exactly.
have kids that were given that platform by their parents to
Yes.
be making money. And when the money start coming in, now that they are grown, most of them have become drug addicts because they were not really groomed as kids how to handle some of these fame, these money that were coming to them.
It's because their parents were also scared, just as you are scared now, and they felt like, hey,
Yeah.
stop that, go to school. And these people had to go and hide and do what they were doing and be guided by false people like friends.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, when they make the
No,
money,
these people
they
were
Yeah.
guided by their parents.
no.
They
Very
didn't
few of
hide
No, no.
trust me.
Andy, are you saying if my let's say I will have I'll have let's say a 17-year-old or 18-year-old ward and then he or she is doing stuff like that. Me with the kind of knowledge I have in computer and IT and everything, I won't be able to control it. because I said I would
With
rather
what
make
you've said so far, you'll
no,
not be able to do it.
no. The fact that I want my child to cross some age, it doesn't
You
mean
see,
I
there
won't
is
be able
Right,
to
something called
control it.
there is
right.
something called
Yeah.
development, okay? And development is a progressive like something. You are building upon something. Now the child has developed the talent that I can type
Okay, Andy, this will be
or
your
I
last
can
words.
market.
Into the Kanefa Fra na Obiama the last words ni uncle. Why?
I good. The child has developed whatever talent or skills that I can do marketing online. This is the very time. It's either you better or you help the child better his skills, or you bring the child down. Sorry, by telling him to go to school and focus on education. I'm done.
Okay. Doing marketing is something different. How many kids of that age, age 13, go and sit down and do marketing? Okay, Ahunipa, let's go.
Um, my last words is going to be like that. Back in the days, back in the good old days, I do believe that we enjoy. For me, we did enjoy life more, and I feel like we enjoyed life more because we got a taste of the two worlds. We got a taste of how the world was like without technology and how the world is with technology. Because back then we were the generation that were introduced to TV, color television, we were introduced to phones, to the internet. Some of these kids, they just came to meet some of these things. But we were able to experience both and know which one is best for our kids. But then now, you only know one way of punishing kids. You only know one way to up a child. But we know both ways. So I do believe that it goes in our advantage and we are able to, balance both and then, help in grooming our kids. And back in the days too, I mean, life was good. Life was good. We didn't have the mobile phones, we didn't have the TVs, we didn't have the computers, but we had analysis stories, we had by the fireside, we had a lot of people that were
Kwasasa you.
entertaining us. Yes, exactly. A lot of games that we played back in the days that were really, 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 really interesting. And I do believe that it helped us and then it made us, who we are today. And we did enjoy those days. For me, I enjoy those days
Okay,
much more than I
okay.
do
Thank
today.
you, thank you. Monday born, your last words, please.
It's quite sad that we were not able to talk about some of the fun things. Like when it was Christmas, we use palm fronds to make these houses, small huts, and all those things we were enjoying. I think I really appreciate those little things growing up because these days everyone wants to be in their own digital world. Right now, I think about a few months ago, most people saw I wasn't active on TikTok because I took a break from the media. Because mostly when I was live and then somebody would call me, I would say, "Oh, baby, yeah, my friend, when I'm done, I'll call," and I never get to call them. It will steal your social life from you, and once you get off the live, you switch off everything. I mean, you are just left there alone, and then you start scrolling again. So I think we should really appreciate the old stuff, but we should also embrace the new ones that are improving our lives and make sure we have balance. Because without balance, there's nothing we can really do in this world. And I want Ray, this is personal. Ray, I want you to know that if you have a kid who is smart, help that child, guide that child to get to their potential. Because when you go to China, their system of education is quite different. Even if you see the TikToks that are made in China, the ones that they are allowed to view, they're all educational, but they bring us the rubbish. Sorry for my language. Because what they do is, if you are a kid and you like figures, they push you where you're going to do very well. So if you like soccer, they guide you in physical training and all those things so you can enjoy the sports that you want. But in our education system, you do all the rubbish together, you fail along the line. If you are not strong enough, you would have to go and learn a trade. But some of these people are geniuses, and if their parents were able to guide them at the age of, let's say, 13 or 14 to assess some of these some of these very valuable information on the internet to make money on internet. I mean, they'll be great by now because the whole motive is freedom, not particularly money, but the freedom to do most of the things we love in this world. And if your child is able to find something they love to do, the best thing you, the parent, can do is just to guide the child. Because if you don't do that, I mean, that child is going to grow up being a doctor. I'm a nurse. I know most doctors I've met, some doctors I've met, they did this medicine course because their parents or parents' were doctors, and they've all been doctors, and they don't love it. They don't love it. Some were thinking they wanted to be engineers, but they are in the medicine field. So I think if there's anything that a child needs, it is what support he or she gets from the parents to do what they love to do, and that's the freedom that we all want in this world. The freedom to do what we want to do, and that comes with money, sort of. So I think that's great. It's a great discussion. Thanks for having me here. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. And like I was saying, I do agree that when your ward has some kind of potential, you should guide. I do really agree. But we look at the safety part of it also. You know, there is you need to give proper guidance, like I was saying. Our parents concerning the Andy's football and stuff like that. Well, I was also a footballer. I played in the second division before. But when I was young, my mom restricted me, like, because first of all, what do we call it? She didn't have that insight or education about it. That's the first thing. Secondly, safety, because where we were living wasn't that safe. You know, when I was pained, or yeah, it was annoying to know that I didn't have the chance to do certain things that I wanted to do. But then when you sit and think about it, you also know, okay, you're living in this kind of neighborhood. If she would leave you, blah blah blah, because that time your parents, especially in Ghana, your parents cannot follow you to the pitch to watch you play like people do to their kids here. We can do to our kids here, but in Ghana they couldn't do it at that time because on all the markets be or be yeah be on be do watching ball.
So why did
You
they have to
understand?
beat us when we come home?
No, ya catch us menko. Sutie. You understand?
That would be a different topic.
Yeah, that would be a different topic one day. It's been a wonderful discussion. It's been a wonderful discussion with my guest, Andy Ko, Ahrenepa, and Monday Born. I really thank you all for coming. This podcast is available on YouTube, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and then Spotify. You can check out the links on my bio. Click on it. It will redirect you to whichever platform you want to listen to. I thank you all, and I hope to see you next time. Bye. Thank you for being a part of this episode of the Ray Talks podcast. Kindly support us by subscribing and sharing to family and friends. See you next time.